we're now starting the second part, which is going to be ST Play. All right. I'm going to be bugging the ST Play people first here. And like last time I picked on Julian, I'm going to pick on you guys. Gray, you're going to be up first for this one.
I was just going to say, I'll just unmute in advance. I
Yeah,
already know how
exactly.
this is going.
yeah. I'll pick on you first because instead of Abby, because yours is double masculine also. So it's like, it has a punch to it. So there's many parts to ST Play. I'm just going to read it out and tell me how you experience them. So the basic definition of ST Play is expending energy for the tribe. So, obviously talk about that. But part of ST Play, which I think is very interesting for you specifically, actually, compared to everyone else here, is you consume last, but ST Play is also gathering facts from the tribe, and you have that in the saver state. So even though you're not consuming as much yourself, you're still getting a lot of information because you do it in a saver state. And, and talking about like gathering facts from the tribe, play in general is also social fluidity. So people that have play pretty high, they tend to be more socially fluid because like when they're talking to someone, it's like a quick like ping pong, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and you're building up on top of whatever the last person said to you, right? And it's like a never ending back and forth, There's no like lag time where like someone talks to you, you're like pauses first and then you talk. It's like bam, 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 And then the last part of that is reporter jokes, like like Arnold Schwarzenegger is famous for like his monotone voice, which is like why he's the Terminator. But when Dave makes his video, he's always making reporter jokes. Like he changes his voice to reporter, and be like, well, the fact shows that this person is an idiot, like something like that, And so how do you use any of those four parts yourself, So talk about each of the four parts if you can.
Okay. All right, hold on. I need to blast back these real quick. So I'm talking about expending energy. I'm talking about gathering from the tribe. I'm talking about the ST part of it. And I'm talking about what else? What was the third? I missed part 3, I think. I got 1, 2, and 4. What's 3?
Yeah, definitely putting you on the spot. Okay, so yeah, you got the expending energy from the tribe, gathering facts from the tribe.
Yep.
Social fluidity.
There it is. Okay,
and,
okay.
Reporter.
All right. Okay, so first and foremost, if you want to see masculine sensory, it's like still like there was a lot of information you just dropped, and I'm like, okay, I've got most of it. I'm gonna make sure there's the ping back. I'm gonna make sure I have the sensory before I move forward. So I guess like how I would view ST Play especially is like I'm taking care of physical reality, but not for myself. I'm illegal. I am supposed to be. Thank you so much, Viv, for putting that in the chat. I appreciate you. But that is pretty much like what I'm doing is like I'm just trying to expend energy, but it is making things work for others. So for example, Sheila had a quick question about changing her name before we got started on this. And I was like, boom, I'm ready for the answer here. I've got it. Let me throw this at you. But when it comes to taking care of myself, who's gray? I don't know, or not my problem. So that's kind of the consume last part I've really realized is like, there is no self in the sensory. There's only others in the sensory. So that's kind of ST Play at the top with consume last, kind of get that out of the way. As for the reporter talk, I could talk like this if you really wanted me to. I'm very good at talking like this, and everybody hates when I talk like this. So why would I talk like that? I try to have a little bit more of a musical tone to my voice because no one likes listening to that. But you can definitely hear when I first wake up in the morning, there have been times where I'll hop onto like voice chat first thing in the morning. I'm like, hey guys, what's up? Yeah, I just woke up. Yeah, I'm going to go for a walk. And I'm just like, oh, Gray, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Why? What's up? It's a good morning. It's like that very like dry, but it's later in the day. So I'm like, hey, how's it going? How's life? And there's a little bit more of a musical flip to it. So I feel like the ST reporter stuff, like, yeah, it's there. But again, it's with the tribe. So it's not as much of a dry. It's not like, I feel like you interviewed my husband, Drew as ST sleep. And so that can get a little more like, there's a very specificness to it. So there's not as much of I feel like ST Play is the highlight reel of ST. It's not the specific in order. It's like, okay, we got through it. Okay, let's do what I really want, which is I want to analyze and truly get into who I am as a person. Because I do the ST on autopilot. I don't want to talk about it all day. I want to process the tough stuff. And then, so let's see, I got most of that. In terms of expending energy, I'm the highest energy person in here. It's not my favorite thing. And it sucks being that person because people expect you to be that person when you don't feel like being that person because you develop a reputation of being the high energy person. I don't like it. It's not fun. I do it anyways because I feel obligated to. Yay, saviors. And as for the like social fluidity, I would say it's by force. I've really worked on picking up when people need things. Like I'm sitting here, I'm nodding, I'm smiling, I'm making fun of like the blaster moves of like the posing and stuff, where it's like I don't mind doing that and kind of making fun of myself a little bit if it means that, you know, someone feels supported or like they're being heard. Even though I'm not good at listening, I'm trying to give that ping back of like, nope, I'm here with you, nope, I'm playing, I'm trying to be present. So there's a lot of like stuff I've learned. It's not instinctual. I'm not reading the vibe of people in the sense of like, I don't know how I know it, I just know. It's like, okay, so I'm seeing that like I know like I'm reading people's vibe of like, okay, Abby's doing this pose. Okay, so she's listening, she's paying attention. That makes sense. She's consumed first. Now she's moving because I'm paying attention to her and she's DE. So maybe I'll go look at Julien. Julian's really looking into the camera. He's really attentive, but he also looks like he's processing in the moment because it's almost like he'll stop, pull back every so often when people are talking. So I'm paying attention to where he's moving. And that's also ST play of I'm physically logging all of the little annoying ST things you do. So I have this backlog of people in my head. I'm really sorry. It gets really creepy stalkerish sometimes, the amount of like file cabinet I have for everybody. And I'm doing it to all of you all the time. So that's the other part of ST play of like the social fluidity is it's like this very like detective hack system of giant files on everybody. Like there's some criminal I need to track. So there you go. That's the breakdown of all the 4 aspects of ST play. Thank God for Blast. I got through that without taking all day. I'm so sorry, Abby. Good luck.
I like how you went feminine FI at the end right there. So,
because I don't want to be boring. I find ST boring. For God's sakes, I better have fun while I'm talking about this. Like, there's better be some F. I think that's the other part. There better be some FI because I get bored of ST. So,
I didn't know that ST play, at least the EJ version. I didn't know you had a file cabinet of people. That's interesting. Of like facts, like that's. I was like, whoa, that's new for me. You know, I like new. I'm an EP, so I'm like, sweet. And I can definitely see that social fluidity when you were just talking right now. It's like it was very easy. I also noticed that with people with high play in general, you don't take yourself as seriously too, which is, I guess, is very nice, especially when you're like bantering with people. It's like, it's fun. Abby, you have ST play. Xavier, your play first. How do you do all that 4 aspects of it?
Yeah, I feel like before I begin, can I elicit Gray to be like my mouthpiece for like the rest of my life? Like, can I just have you in like, I don't know, like a Bluetooth or something? Can you just speak for me? That was so good.
See, yes, but also no, because I gotta speak for me sometimes. But yeah, we'll trade. Yeah, it'll be great. If you can consume for me, I'll blast for you. So
perfect. I love that arrangement. That's perfect. So I'm gonna see if I can, in my lastness, do this justice. I think with ST play, a lot of it is like firefighting, just like seeing what is the crisis in the moment and how to fix it, and then just doing it. That's like my natural state, and that comes out a lot in like the reporterness too. So if somebody's asking me a question, I'm giving you all of my consume. Like, and it's not a blast because it's not organized. It's just like, like, here's everything. All right, I'm gonna go away now. Like, you know, good luck with that. And then in terms of gathering facts from the tribe, I have a lot of questions. I think that counts, right? Like, even if there's like a manual somewhere and I know there's a manual, I'm like, well, why do I want to go read the manual if you're here and I can just, you know, type a chat and ask you and you can tell for me, right? So a lot of that, a lot of like walking to other people's offices and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And hey, what do you think about that? And then social fluidity, I think that's actually been a problem for me, because like Gray was talking about, you pick up you have a really good awareness of what people want from you and how people want you to be so that they're comfortable, or how it would work for them maybe. So you start changing your identity for it, or I do. I'm going to speak for myself, not DE talk. I start changing my identity. I think that has to do with the feminine FI too. So depending on who I'm with, I can be a very different person. And I think that's something that's been really natural for me all my life. Oh, crap. Sorry, I left my train tracks.
There's some chaos right there.
Yeah.
And then jokes wise, the first thing that came up was Chandler. Stop train. It's really stupid. The train doesn't have like the gate on it, so every time it goes by a really busy intersection, like it has to honk the horn like for 3 minutes so that like people don't run in. Sorry, I'm off topic, but anyway,
Why?
it's really stupid, right?
That is really stupid. What?
Super stupid. It's super stupid. I should probably like petition the city to like put a gate in there or something.
This is what you need my blast for. I'll help you write a strongly worded letter about the
yes,
stupid
please.
train.
That would be great. That is wonderful. I forgot what I was talking about.
You have feminine SE, right?
Okay. So there was something you said about social fluidity. I wanted to jump in. So something,
Okay.
and I'm so sorry, I'm going to call everybody. Everyone else here is masculine FI, and we both have play and feminine FI, which means we are the FEs in the room because we are going to move our emotions to fit the room, and we're play, so we're obligated to the vibe. So I'm laughing, you're laughing, we're both putting on faces like, all right, if no one else is going to FE, I'm going to FE, and that's exhausting. So yeah, I could like, I can imagine that, like, if I'm like, I'm pretty sure she also experiences it. So like, oh, I have to change who I am. Like, that sounds like FE. A lot of people think I talk FE because of what you're talking about, my identity going whoosh as I'm catering to the tribe. So I thought that was interesting. Oh, I do that too. Hello, buddy.
Hey, yeah, I feel very understood. We need to get this like mouthpiece thing arrangement set up. That would make both of our lives a lot easier, I feel like. There's the TE. Yeah, what else did I not cover? Jokes. Oh, yeah, like Chandler jokes, except it's not as creative. It's more like, are you serious that you don't know this is how things work kind of ways? So like the joke that comes up is like Chandler would be like, oh, wait, hold on. Let me watch the scene in my head first. So Joey would be like, oh, you called? Did you get her machine? Like her answering machine? And then Chandler would be like, yeah, like, no, interestingly enough, the leaf blower picked up or something like that. Sorry, I really butchered that line. But like that kind of jokes, like kind of pointing out the really obvious thing that's really obvious, but nobody seems to think that it's really obvious, and doing it in a very sarcastic way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that masculine TE for that sarcastic part, you know? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm out of steam now. Thanks for listening.
I like how you like channel changed really quickly too during your segment, and then there was like chaos on top of it. It was perfect.
Yeah.
You know, it's perfect. Perfect.
Poster child for EP.
Vivian, you I think you told me before in our interview before that you like to bug people for facts. So you don't have to search it yourself or something. But talk about how you personally experience ST play.
I think most of the day I'm just anti-ST as much as I can be. Like, I don't want to know your facts. Stop giving me facts. I don't want them. Please be quiet. But then towards the end of the day, when I'm not doing something for like work or something, like playing a game, that's when I want ST. Tell me how to do this. Tell me how to do this. Now, how do I do this? Could I do this better? And could you do this for me? You do it better? Okay, cool. You do it for me. So it's hard for me to really grasp onto the ST because both of those are feminine. So it's when I am in ST play mode, I know I'm goofing off. I know I'm just off the wall, but I don't remember most of it. I can talk more about the let's see. I'm not really expending energy for the tribe unless I think they need it. And sometimes it's really, really reluctant. So it's like I hear someone needs something and like, fine, get up, trudge over to the person. What do you want? It's very not great. Gathering facts. I do a lot of the gathering facts online for things that I'm interested in. So it can look a little bit more like consume, but I'm getting the facts from very few sources to put into a spreadsheet so I can keep it because I'm going to forget. I think I also do make the obvious jokes because I think they're stupid. It's like, hey, what about this very obvious thing? I don't have one off the top of my head. But yeah, I do that. Dad jokes are great.
All right, thanks, Vivian. Sheila, you have ST place second, and you're an IP, so it's a little bit contradictory again. So you're an IP, but play savior. How do you experience it based on those 4 factors that we discussed earlier?
Like 4 hours ago that I can't remember. Let's see. I guess for me, ST play comes out when I meet people. I'm like 20 questions girl, and I just want to consume the person. So I'm asking them so many questions about themselves. It'd be like, oh, where are you from? Are you married? Do you have kids? You know, like I just want all the facts of the human. And sometimes I probably ask too many questions, but I've never seemed like I've offended anyone, but maybe I'm oblivious to that. But I feel like I can read the room. Like Gray says, you know, I'm taking in all the sensory of, you know, how they're tilting their head, how they're toning their voice, you know, their body language, you know, just so I'm gathering on all that ST to figure out how to, if I should keep going with the questions or to reel back. And even though my FI is masculine, I do feel like I can very much be a chameleon and meld and flow with the tribe to make sure everything is smooth and runs well, and everybody's happy, that I'm happy. So I can very much, well, at least I think I can. I don't know on the spectrum of how well I do, but I feel like I can be a really big chameleon. And maybe it was just years of practice. Like I always say, being a hairstylist for 20 years, I had a new person in my chair all the time, so I had to read that person really quickly, see how I could pick them up and go with the flow. And if they're really quiet, then I can be quiet, or maybe I think they're quiet but they really want to talk, so then I can pull it out. So I don't know, I'm picking up all the ST social cues. I feel like I'm really good at people, especially first impressions or meeting people. I'm super good in the moment. It's later that I'm kind of like, oh, how did, then I go home and, like, oh, did I do this wrong or that wrong? But in the moment, I'm not even thinking about if I'm offending them that much or not offending them. I am, but I'm not. So it's like I get caught up in the moment, I guess. So it's hard. I always feel like I'm like contradicting myself as an IP. I don't know. I also love dad jokes. I love the obvious. It's hilarious. And I love like Trivial Pursuit type ST games. Like if we're at a bar and they're like having some like music trivia night, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kick ass on the music trivia, because it's like I have these random facts stored up in my brain that are useless. Maybe once in a while I might pull something out of my ass, and win, music night or something. But memory wise, like the important stuff I forget, but like ask me some random fact, I'll probably remember just stupid. Like my husband always calls me Cliff Clavin, because I'll just always have some stupid random fact that I can throw out there for the tribe. And jokes. Yeah, I love dad jokes. I own one joke that I can remember, and that's it. The only joke I ever tell, and it's stupid, but it's the one. It's like, what do you call a constipated German? Far from pooping. That's it. That's what I got, people.
What I like that you said that you're a hairstylist, so that means all your clients tell you all their dirty secrets, and because you have feminine SE, you will forget all of it. So you're actually the perfect person to tell all this stuff to.
Yeah, I'm like a bartender. It's like people just pour into me like all their deep, dark secrets. I mean, I probably have known about marriages ending before the husband knew. And yeah, it's just like, I don't know. And people, I feel like people, maybe because I'm consumer first, so I'm a good listener, that people always will just tell me like heavy stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. And it doesn't faze me.
Julien, you're the last guy here. You're play last. Besides those 4 questions, those 4 parts, I do want to add as something special for you. When do you want to connect with people? Because it's 4th, right? You know, because obviously it's going to be there. And you know what, man? I do see you using Play-Doh. You know, I do. I mean, I don't know if it's fake. I don't know if it's fake play or not. You know, like, but there's a guy that I interviewed before. His name. Anyways, there's people that have Play last that actually try to use it, which I think is awesome. So how do you personally use it?
I mean, I grew up in a bigger family than usual, I guess. Like I have 3 brothers. All my family are much more extroverted than I am. Like they're all just off the rails. And I think acting was a big thing in my household. Not that any of us are professional actors or anything like that, but it's just like this idea of putting on like an act and putting on a show and being fake like that was a big thing. And so like I was never really great at it, but it was always something that we would do. We would pretend to be characters, we would like put on this show, like I would be this person, they'd be that person. And I would really like making faces. Like I have these big eyebrows and they're pretty good for like just like making like lots of faces. So usually like in situations I rely on a lot of facial expressions, a lot of body movement, like that's kind of how I connect with amusement. But for social fluidity, and then for comedy, it's just like being a foil, a comedic foil. I think is how I fit in better than anything else, in the sense where I'll be kind of like the straight man there, and I'll just be like sarcastic and all that. And for the play itself, though, if I had to boil it down, I really like just doing things with other people, like connecting with people. If we can do something like a mutual project together, that's how I feel the most comfortable connecting with someone. Like, I don't feel like I'm really connecting with people very deeply if we're just talking or we're sitting around, any of those things like that, even in work. But if there's like a project, you're like, okay, well, let's come together. We're going to do this project. We're going to figure it out. Then I feel like somehow I'm connecting with this person quite well. But besides that, just like trying to be silly when I can. And when I figured out about objective personality, yeah, I definitely thought like, how can I put on more of a play show? So before, if I was saying something, if I was describing something to one of my more chaotic friends and they would change channels, I would just stand there, go like, yeah. But then go back to my point. I'm like, yeah, cool. And then just go back to my point. But now if someone goes on a tangent, I'll go along with them for a while. I'll go like, oh yeah, let's go on this tangent for a while. And then eventually bring it back to my point, but I won't just dismiss it outright. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say.
You have ST last also, and you're NF first. So, you're the type that would most likely disrespect facts also. Talk about that, like the facts itself, because, of that access that you have.
It's a funny thing because I think being masculine sensory, I do have some more respect for facts than someone else might have for facts. But the thing is, I don't respect facts that come from people. It's a really dumb, funny thing, but it's like if someone gives me a fact, I'll be like, cool, I'm gonna go look that up on my own and see if that's true or not. Because if you tell me that, I don't believe that you actually have that fact down right. And so I'll put the responsibility on myself to look it up and see it from other sources. And it takes a lot for me to be like, yeah, that's a solid fact, because like I have the NF, I don't even know what I'm doing with facts. Like I don't really know how to research facts. Like I'll just pretend that I can argue that they don't exist until, you know, I'm put in the point where it's like, look, you can't really disprove this fact. Like it's right in front of your face.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Sorry, go ahead, Ray.
I was gonna say that's so funny because so my husband is play last, double masculine, consume first, and you've got double masculine, consume second. So I'm just cracking up because he's the same exact way. And I'm like, oh, this thing. He's like, where did you hear that? I'm like, oh, so and so said it. It's like, they're an idiot. What's wrong with you? I'm like, and I'm like, why would I go look it up for myself? Like that's your job. And I'll like just suddenly get all weird about it. It's just so funny hearing like, I know that story. I know that one. It was just like, oh my God, that's so real. It's so hard to listen to other people when that's not your setup. But like, I think like one, you're here doing on an interview with us, which is awesome. So like you're doing a little bit of play. It's great. So it just made me laugh to hear like, oh, play last is so real. And then, you know, it's awesome that you're here. So yeah, happy things.
Thanks for having me. I'll be weird now.
That's good. Okay, you know what, guys? I'm gonna wrap up play because this is like the perfect transition to consume and blast. Especially how when Julien said that someone told him the facts and he would check himself. That's also, you know, being an info dominant person, right? So we're gonna wrap up play.